Welcome to this video lecture. Myself Atul Kumar, working as a assistant professor in Department of Computer Science, Rajiv Gandhi Memorial, Government College, Jogindarnagar. In this video lecture, I will discuss about structure and functioning of Central Processing Unit. So what is Central Processing Unit? It is actually the brain of a computer system, and it perform all the calculations and comparison. All the calculations and comparisons are performed inside a central processing unit in the computer. It is also responsible for the activation and controlling of all the operations in the other parts of computer system. So different concepts related to CPU. Firstly, I will discuss in this control unit. So control unit selects and interprets the program instructions and then coordinate their execution. So it acts like a manager. So its main function is to manage how these program instructions are given to other part of computer and how to control the other parts and units of your computer system. So to perform these operations, there are two things, that is, one is special purpose register and other is decoders. So in special purpose registers we have firstly instruction registers. So instruction registers are the registers that holds the current instruction that need to be executed. So it always holds the current instruction. And the other special purpose register in control unit is program control register, and it holds the next instruction to be executed. The program control register is a register that holds the next instruction that need to be executed. So the next is, what is decoder? So decoder is the circuit that is used to decode and interpret the meaning of every instruction supported by the CPU. So decoder basically decodes and interpret the meaning of every instruction. And so control unit acts like a manager. So it manages and coordinates the entire computer system, including its input and output unit. It also obtains the instruction from a program counter in a memory, interpret the instructions and issue signals. So this one is basically the architecture of central processing unit. So we can see in this we have a control unit and we have a arithmetic logic unit. We have also the memory parts like cache memory here, main memory here, and ROM, that is PROM, and flash memory is also in the CPU. So in this video lecture I will discuss only about control unit and arithmetic logic unit, and for memory unit please refer to my next video lecture that is based on memory. So in case of control unit we have two parts, one is special registers and other is decoder. So this one is a decoder and these are special purpose registers. Why these are special purpose register? Because each register has some special task that is required to performed by that register. So we have program control register, we have instruction register here, we have a memory address register, we have a memory buffer register, input output register here, and general purpose registers. All are in control unit, and I will discuss all these registers in the upcoming slides in this video lecture. So we have also in arithmetic logic unit we have accumulator registers and other general purpose registers. So the next part in CPU is ALU, that is arithmetic logic unit, and it is a place where actual execution of the instruction takes place during data processing operations. So when the control unit encounters an instruction that involves arithmetic operations such as addition, subtraction, multiplication, division, or logical operations such as less than, equal to, or greater than, equal to, then it passes the control to the arithmetic logic unit. So as shown in this figure, arithmetic logic unit has some kind of special purpose registers whose function I will discuss later on in the next slides, and there are some necessary circuitry in this also in this block diagram to carry out all the arithmetic and logical operations included in the set of instructions supported by the CPU. So for example, control unit might load two numbers into the ALU registers and then tell the ALU to add them or to check them whether they are equal or not equal. So if we have, suppose we have two numbers, suppose we have number A equal to 10, we have given other input equal to a B equal to 11. So first of all, in case of CPU, control unit just store these numbers in the main memory for processing, and if the operation is addition, then after main memory the control has gone to this, has given to this arithmetic logic unit, and this in this arithmetic logic unit, if we want to add these numbers, then arithmetic operation that is addition has been performed in this ALU, and after the calculation or after getting the result, the same result is given back to this memory, main memory, for next operations, and these controls are controlled by this control unit, how these results are given to main memory. So the main purpose of arithmetic logic unit here is to perform arithmetic and logical operations. So next is instruction set. So instruction set is basically the set of machine instructions. So set of machine instructions is called as an instruction set. So many almost every CPU has more than 200 or more instructions in their instruction set. So machine language designed for the processor based on the list of instructions supported by the CPU. So CPU is made by different manufacturers, have different instruction set. Suppose in the market there are different kind of CPU manufacturers. We have AMD, we have Intel chipset manufacturer, we have Snapdragon that is heavily used in mobile phones, we have a MediaTek chipset manufacturer, we have Asus, and we have MSI. All these manufacturers design their CPU and all have their different instruction sets. So instruction sets are basically the set of machine instructions. Next I will discuss about here registers. So registers are special memory units. These are used to hold informations on temporary basis and are the part of CPU. So the length of the register is equal to the number of bits it can store. So if a register can store 8 bit, so it is called as 8-bit register, and the length of this is 8 bit. If the register store 32 bit, so the register is 32 bit. If the register store 64 bits, so the length of the register is 64 bit. And many modern computers have today we have 64-bit registers. So the length of register of a computer sometimes called the word size, and larger we have a word size, and the faster the processing of that speed of that computer. So if we have one computer that is of 64 bit, and if we have other computer that is of 32 bit, then the 64 bit computer system processes the data at a very fast rate as compared to same 32 bit computer system. That is the meaning of word size. Larger the word size, faster a computer can process a set of data. So some common register we have. Firstly, we have memory address register. So memory address register here, what does it hold? It holds the address of active memory location. So memory address register holds the address of active memory active memory location, and it is loaded from program control register when an instruction is read from the memory. The next register we have is memory buffer register. As the name indicates, it is a kind of buffer, and buffer is a place where some data is temporarily stored. So memory buffer register holds the content of accessed memory word. So an instruction word placed in this register is transferred to the instruction register. A data word placed in this register is accessible for operation with accumulator register or for transfer to input output register. The next register we have is program control register, and the main purpose of program control register is to hold the address of next instruction to be executed. So the next register is accumulator register, and it is basically in ALU part. So in ALU, arithmetic logic unit, we have accumulator register, and it holds the data to be operated upon, the intermediate results we have, and the results after processing. So basically it stores the results of after processing of data. Suppose we have for the example of this, we have A is equal to 10 and B is equal to 20 and C is equal to 10 plus D, and D here is A plus B. So we have variables A is equal to 10, B is equal to 20, and C is equal to 10 plus D. We have to calculate this. C is equal to, what is the value of C, and what is D? D is equal to A plus B. So firstly we put the value of A and B in this expression. So A is equal to 10 and B is equal to 20. So D is equal to, here is 30. 10 plus 20 is 30. So after this result is the intermediate result, and this intermediate result is stored in this accumulator register, and after this result is again fetched to process this expression, that is C is equal to 10 plus D, and after processing this expression the result is 30 plus 10 is 40. This one is also stored in this accumulator register before going to the output unit or main memory. So next register we have, I have discussed earlier this register, that is instruction register. It holds the current instructions to be executed. The next register is the input output register, and it is basically for communication with the input output devices. So all input output information such as instructions and data are transferred to this register via the input device. Similarly, all output information to be transferred to an output device is found in this register. So next, what is processor speed? In today's world, it is a very important concept ki how much faster or how much efficient or how much powerful is your processor. So instructions are fetched, decoded and executed at proper intervals with interval timed by a specific number of clock cycles. So one cycle is the time it takes to perform one operation. Several clock cycles are required to fetch, decode and execute a single program instruction. So shorter the clock cycle, faster is the processor. So if smaller time is required to fetch, decode and execute a single program instruction, then shorter is that clock cycle, and if the shorter is the clock cycle, then faster is the processor. So speed at which instructions are executed related directly to built-in clock speed, and which is the number of pulses produced per second. So clock speed is basically the number of pulses produced per second, and it is always measured in megahertz or gigahertz. And if you buy a laptop today, so there is a clock speed, you can always check what is the clock speed of that computer. So more is the clock speed of a computer, faster is the processing speed of that computer. So basically in today's scenario, we have a clock speed that start from 1 gigahertz, that is 1000 megahertz, to 6 gigahertz, that is 6000 megahertz. So 1 gigahertz is basically 1000 megahertz. And what is giga? Giga means 10 raised to power 9 and mega means 10 raised to power 6. Over the year, clock speed of processor have increased steadily. So next I will discuss what are the different types of processors. So firstly we have a processor CISC. So CISC, the full form of CISC is complex instruction set computer. So it is basically have a large instruction set and a variable length of instruction in this CISC type of processors, and has variety of addressing modes. So as the name suggests, this is a kind of complex processor, and they are very expensive to produce these kind of processors. But modern PCs we use today uses this type of architecture. The next processor we have a RISC processor, and the full form of this is reduced instruction set computer. So it has a minimum set of instructions. So in case of complex instruction set computer, we have a very large number of instruction set, but in case of RISC we have a very small amount of instruction set, and the length of these instructions are also fixed. So in case of complex, they have fixed variable length instruction, that is, and in case of RISC we have fixed length of instructions. And RISC type of processors are very less complex and less expensive to produce as compared to CISC type of processor. The next processors we have today, in today's world, we have multi-core processors. We have dual core computers, we have quad core computers, we have octa core, we have hexa core. So if we have dual core, means that computer systems have processor have 2 cores. If we have quad core, means that computer system contains 4 cores. If we have 8 octa core, then that computer system contains 8 core. So in this type of chipset, we have multiple cooler running more energy efficient processing cores instead of one powerful core. So the multi-core chip improves the overall performance by handling more work in parallel. So if we have more than one core, then they perform very well in practical situations, and as a result they work more efficiently as compared to single core processors. For example, we have dual core chip running multiple applications 1.5 times faster than the chip with just one comparable core. So dual core means 2 cores. So if we have a chip that contains 2 core, then and if we run multiple applications on that machine, then it runs 1.5 5 times faster than the chip that contains only a single core. So suppose we have if we have a machine of octa core, so it has 8 cores, and if we want to run multiple applications, like 8 applications in that octa core, then that machine will handle those applications more efficiently and will perform better as compared to a dual core machine that will run at a time 2 applications at a time. And if we want to run 8 applications, then a dual core will perform less faster as compared to octa core. So also in case of multi-core, consume less power and generate less heat than single core processors. So there are many chip makers or manufacturers in the market that produces multi-core processors. Like Intel, we have AMD processor, we have the processors built by IBM International Business Machine, we have a processor built by Snapdragon. So main examples of Intel processor, we have i3 processors. These are quad core, dual core. We have i5 processors, we have, that is we have i7 processor, we have also now i9 processors here. And depending upon the clock speed, each series, from when we goes from 3, 5, 7, 9, then their processing clock speeds increases, also their cores increases. Like i7 has 8 cores, i9 has more than these cores, so their processing speed increased, and as a result they perform better. So i9 processor perform better as compared to i7, i7 perform better as to i5, and i5 perform better as to i3. Similarly, in case of AMD, AMD is also very large manufacturer of these chipsets. So in the latest scenario, AMD also manufacture Ryzen series, and in Ryzen series we have Ryzen 3 processor, we have Ryzen 5 processor, we have Ryzen 7 processors, and we have Ryzen 9 processors. And more the speed, more the when we go from 3 to 5, then 5 to 7, then these processor, the cores of these processor increases. And also when we goes from lower to higher in number, then the clock speed also increases. As a result, the processing power of higher number is more as compared to processing power of lower number. Similarly, we have processors of IBM machine, IBM manufacturer. We have also a processor made by Snapdragon that is mainly used in our mobile phones, like Snapdragon 400 series, Snapdragon 600 series, Snapdragon 800 series. And the main difference in these series is the cores, the processing power, and handling of multi-threading also be there. So more the cores, more be the threads generated by that processor, and more be the processing speed of particular processor. So thanks for watching this video lecture.